Gee, it sure is dark in here. There's gotta be a light around here somewhere. Oh, this ought to do it.
Whoa! Where do you think you are? Disney World?
Yes, sir. I knew I was home when I got on the airport tram and was greeted by Buddy Dyer. I think that tram was piloted by a chicken.
All right, Pinhead, listen up. Your job is to pilot this craft through RetroMagic 2023 without overstressing it. This is a first-class event, Susie. A lot of dedicated fans are in attendance tonight, and they have high expectations. So the pressure is on. Are you ready, Stunty?
Yes, sir.
You'll need to measure up to a whole archive of flickering home movies and treasured family memories that warm people's hearts.
Yes, sir.
People are going to compare you with the great Disney legend, Bob Gurr. Are you ready, Stinky?
No, sir.
Smart boy. Nevertheless, instead of losing your head, what are you gonna do?
Use my head, sir.
Well, look at you. You remembered. I'm proud of you, boy. Remind me, how long have you been riding around inside the head of Scott Curtis?
Since 1989, sir.
Then I'm sure you've got the hang of it. You're gonna get Scott right up there on stage in a few minutes, aren't you, boy?
I'll do my best, sir.
As befits your role as a full-fledged member of the Cranium Command, carry on, Buzzy. And remember, be calm, cool, collected, serene, balanced, centered, and relaxed. Like me!
Will do, General. Guess I better get this show on the road. Okay, crew, report in. Todd McCartney, Jerry Rees, come in, please.
Stage left. Oh. Buzzy, this is stage left reporting of your duty. Let's have a wonderful presentation, shall we? Yay!
Writer, director, executive R&D Imagineer, and sometimes voice actor here, Buzz. Free association and creativity makes fully charged. Let's do this, dude.
Jerry, wonderful to see you again. Oh my goodness, we have
truncated your script.
I know. I'm not an actor. You know, I asked when we put this together, and once we get onto the screen here, I want to thank everybody who worked to put this together. I was talking to Jerry, and we had this idea, and Tammy Tuckey helped us out. And before you know it, Jerry says, I can write a script. He's definitely in Hollywood. I got a script with the font and emphasis, and I was like, this is impressive. So we do have a couple people. Let's see if we can just move over here. So I want, first of all, Corey Burton reprised his role as General Knowledge.
Hey, Corey.
Scott Curtis, who's here tonight, reprised his role as Buzzy.
Yeah.
Tammy was able to do all the, Tammy Tuckey did the audio editing. Bunny Wars on Twitter did all the artwork and drawings that you see. Incredible job. Written by Jerry Rees, and there's a typo that says written by, but it's
Right.
So that's it.
And I'm Red Shoes honoring Bob Gurr.
There you go. I love it. I love it.
I don't know if you could hear it, but when Buzzy was asked if he would measure up to Bob Gurr, he wasn't sure. And I said, that's a smart answer, kid.
Yes, exactly. So we have a lot to go through tonight. There's a lot of surprises in this. You and I have been working on this for, I want to say almost a year, I think, at some point. But, you know, there's some photos of you that kind of lead up to the story that we're about to tell. And that's what tonight is. It's a story of Jerry's story, right? This is really his story of how he came in and gave us Cranium Command of what it was. So a lot of this, it's Jerry's telling here, but we've got a lot of different clips that you've provided to us that we're going to add in. So,
right, and by the way, I found about 6 hours of behind-the-scenes footage of the making of the show just recently. And so I gave them to Todd, and Todd has put together some behind-the-scenes peeks that you'll get tonight.
That nobody's
that no
ever
one
seen.
has seen before, except us when we were making it.
Yep. So here you are with Goldie Hawn and Robin Williams.
Well, you know, this is pertinent because just before Cranium Command, I had opened 4 shows at the park,
Yep.
at Disney MGM Studios. So I had started with Back to Neverland with Robin Williams and Walter Cronkite. And while I was working on that, they asked me to go rewrite and reshoot something with George Lucas, and I added Anthony Daniels into it, and he flew in from London, and I shot that and prepared that. It was the editing story for the same tour. We shot with Goldie Hawn and Rick Moranis, A Tourist from Hell, and Michael and Mickey, with Michael Eisner, and Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
And so I was opening all 4 of those on the opening day of the park, and I saw Eisner and Katzenberg and George Lucas standing together, and George Lucas motioned me over, and so I went over to see what he had to say, and he said, well, the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, I have not opened it to the public yet. I'm still not happy with the way it's playing, and so I'd like you to rework that. And I had just finished working with George up at the ranch, shooting the piece with him, so he was used to what I did. And so I said, well, I've never worked with live stunt people in a theater and big amphitheater setting with over 2,000 people. And he said, look, it needs storytelling and showmanship. You know how to do that, fix it. So I said, yes, sir. So I left thinking that would be what I was going to be very busy with for a while. And then Peter Schneider caught me just a few minutes later, and he said, okay, I know you feel like you have a full plate, right? But there's something else. There's a show that you haven't heard of yet. It's called Cranium Command. Actually, it was Cranium Commando back in the day. And he said, we're unplugging it, and we fired everybody involved, and we're starting over, but we built a whole theater for it.
Right.
And we have an opening day, but you came in and you rethought, Back to Neverland, me doing a different show than they had in mind. They asked me to go do the rescue with Lucas and with all the rest of them. So actually Zemeckis was supposed to originally shoot Michael and Mickey and got too busy for that. So I happily stepped in for him. So they were used to thinking of me as kind of the buzzer beater guy.
Right.
So
And you flew down there, and we have this is true behind the scenes footage. Jerry, as you're going to see, you were at the Grand Floridian.
yes.
You took your camera in, and he's going to tell us a little bit about Indiana Jones. What's so spectacular about that? You're going to see, and also Cranium Commando. So let's take a listen here.
This time I'm here to work on 2 shows. The Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, which is 2,000-seat amphitheater and a lot of Indiana Jones stunts that are pretty spectacular. That's why they call it the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular. Anyway, I went up and I talked to George Lucas day before yesterday, on Friday. And anyway, we sort of talked about an approach to it, and we're going to try to get this thing together and open. So he sent me down here to do this along with Bob Weiss and Katzenberg, and I'm going to try to deliver big because that's what they're hoping for. So anyway, give it a shot. And the other show it's at Epcot, and it's an 8-screen presentation that's in Health Pavilion. It's called Cranium Commando, and it's about how your mind works. So I don't know anything about that, but I'm going to fake it. Anyway.
You're going to fake it.
Gonna fake it.
Now, one of the things I wanted to tell you about when we put this presentation together, you need to look through, because those that remember the attraction, you're going to see different things that Jerry did so early on that made its way into the attraction itself. So we have another video, also shot from the Grand Floridian, and this was the bedroom and the bathroom, right? Right. So let's just move on to this one, and this kind of sets the stage, and I'm curious of how many of you kind of remember the scene in the attraction.
I didn't throw anybody in the toilet. We were just testing a shot for the Cranium Commando thing. So it's 2 of the screens are going to be point of view, so it's like you're seeing through somebody's eyes. And he goes through a lot of things during the day, and one of them is confronting some bullies who throw him in a trash can or a toilet.
That's right. That's right.
Oh,
Now, before you show any of the original show,
Yeah.
I would just say The first thing that Peter Schneider did that night when he announced to me that they wanted me to go in and redo it was have me go look at the original show and tell them what I thought I would do differently. So I did do that on my own and came up with a plan for what I would do differently. Right. And then I brought my team in to get a flavor of what we were replacing. So I think you're about to show some of what I shared with my team.
We have a couple photos first that have the video, so that maybe this is
but
some
if
of the
you'd like me
original
to get
artwork.
into the what I chose to do
Yeah,
now,
or maybe we should show them so they
maybe
can see
show
what you
show-
react.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
after.
So these are some of the early renderings and maquettes that were made for Cranium Command and Cranium Commando. You can see here's a lot of the little sketch work and different. Buzzy obviously didn't have the form that you know today.
Right.
And then there's a model of what the theater would look like. And this is very similar to what you walked into, right?
Yep.
And so we'll let this run and let people hear, because this is probably the first time they've ever seen some of the original show.
Yes,
in
this
its
was
original
after
form.
I had already assessed it, given my plan of action to a conference call with Eisner and Katzenberg and Roy Disney and Marty Sklar and various other people on the line, and they had given me the go-ahead, and so I gathered my team in the theater to go, by the way, here's what we're replacing, now we have to come up with something better.
There we go. So let's see some of the very original Cranium Command.
So we'll just let this play.
Yeah,
You can
this is a
listen
couple
in.
minutes.
Not only have we gone to a large, so take a look at what's doing now. There's some value to that, kind of neat. The other hand is fixed to the control, so it kind of moves right up.
And any body movement or just?
He's got some torso, yeah.
Hold it. Let me remind you of what happened the last time we were cool with girls.
Oh, yeah.
Forget that! Did you want us to miss our chance to meet Cindy?
You're right, imagination. Let's go talk to her.
That's my main brain! Oh, my count. Hey! Where'd all the butterflies come from?
Well, here goes. Hello, Cindy. Oh,
Take a seat, young man. I'll be in a moment.
uh-oh. I wonder what we've done.
Look, Captain, we did chew down in class. Passed some notes. Oh, you know what that means? Expel! Expel! Are Mom and Dad gonna be bummed or what?
Oh, no. What are we going to do? How am I going to explain? Wait. Knock it off, you two.
What?
If I get bugged about something that hasn't happened yet, I'll hypo let mess down and I'll get my crew all riled up again.
Robert, because of your excellent academic record, you've been chosen Student of the Week.
Thank you, man. How about that? Student of the week.
Bernard, stress is a part of life. You can't always avoid it, but you can learn to recognize the situations that you have control over.
So in other words, I should let any bad feelings I have get the better of me, and I should let unreal and unnecessary worries drive me nuts.
Excellent, Captain. Excellent. Well, are you ready for your next lesson?
Say, General, is it okay to give my crew a little break every now and then?
Absolutely.
And if holding on to bad thoughts can upset my crew, then happy thoughts should keep them in the groove, right?
Right.
Excuse me for a moment. And hey, memory, recall something we really like.
Well, we really like music.
the student of the week. Oh, thanks, Mindy? Would you like to walk me home after school? Sure, but I thought you liked Jimmy. Jimmy? He's all right, but he's not as smart as you. They don't...
Important thing. Don't lose your head. Use your head.
Right here.
I don't get why that made it. Did you do the leg kick? Did you tell them?
Yeah. So I basically told them, I would rewrite it so it's not patronizing, because I felt like when I sat and watched the whole show in that manner, I thought that even I would feel embarrassed if I even brought a child. So I said, okay, let's please hide the message in an engaging story and have characters you care about and not be patronizing. So that's number one. Number two is I would love to keep the eyes active, because I found that often in that version, the eyes would be turned off and then the body would talk with Buzzy and stuff, and then they would say, remember what happened yesterday? And then they would turn on the eyes and they would do a little thing, and then they would go off again. And I said, if this is supposed to be riding through somebody's day and feeling their stress, part of the stress is you can't just close your eyes and make it go away. It's happening. So I said, if you make it like a ride, so you feel like you're not sitting in a theater, you're going on a ride through this kid's day, and like wake up with them and go on the ride and keep those eyes open for most of the time, unless they get hit with an Eskimo pie, which does happen. Then that will feel much more like you're on a ride. And then the third thing was, I just thought, all the body parts were going to be animated. And I just thought it would be so fun to do sort of a Terry Gilliam thing and go crazy with nutsy sort of interior body sets and stuff like that. So instead of animating a Charles Grodin type, get him. Yep. And so Bill Matthews, who's a great production designer that I worked with more than once, built all the crazy sets. So he would do things like left brain, to be logical, had almost like he was inside of a black and white Rubik's Cube, where all the parts would move, and the creativity of the right brain and everything. So anyway, the brain trust that was on the phone call with me, when I laid out those three things, they said, great, go for it. So I was able to collect my team, but the trick was, now I had two mandates. One was absolutely in Florida. It's like George Lucas needed me to go to the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular and work on that with Glenn Randall, the amazing stunt coordinator. And
while you're talking about this, I'm going to put in the MGA footage here so you can talk about it. Yeah, let's play that one, because this is silent.
So I had to go live there, and so I took my story team with me to Florida and put them actually in the building where Back to Neverland played. Yep. So when you go see the film,
and those are actual tourists.
Those are tourists at the time. So they were actually watching us storyboard Cranium Command. So they watched us do it. So if anybody has photographs or videos, or film, I should say, from that time, probably not as many videos, and they dig out from that year. And this was August, June, July, June. It must have been June, because Rebecca, who was one of the story artists there, who was my wife, I met her at Disney, had our first child during Cranium Command, and that was in July 27th. So this is before July 27th, because she's very pregnant there. But anyway, they sat there in front of the public and did the storyboards for me. So I would run back and forth between that building and the stunt theater and work with Glenn Randall there and work with them there. And I remember one of the days they had cracked the hypothalamus character. It was like they couldn't figure out what to do with him. And Rebecca came up with that idea of him being very put upon. It's like, oh, nobody pays attention to me. And then Kirk Wise did a perfect voice for it. And I remember the joy of discovering that while we were in this crazy situation of all working in front of the public.
So we have some of the storyboard there.
That's right.
That was done.
Then I was going to say, then once we were done with that, we broke into two productions where Kirk and Gary did the pre-show, and I ran off to do the main show.
Yep. And we have a special message from somebody for you, too. This is a
really?
surprise for you.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, so we're going to play this here.
Ha-ha!
Hello, fans of Epcot and especially Cranium Command. My name is Pete Doctor. I work here at Pixar Animation Studios, but in a way, I started my career at Epcot because I was working at Disney Feature Animation over in Glendale at the time. They were in those warehouses next to WDI, and I got to work on the Cranium Command pre-show, which was really fun. I don't know if you know this, it's actually the second version of the Cranium Command pre-show, because there was a whole different one that I think was animated by Colossal Pictures in San Francisco. And it was shown then to Jeffrey Katzenberg, whose reaction was, "Not funny, do it again." And so they gave it initially to, let's see, Kirk Wise and Gary Trousdale ended up directing it. It was originally Rob Minkoff, but he left pretty quickly to do, I think, some Roger Rabbit stuff, short films. So anyway, Kirk Wise and Gary took over. It was their first directorial effort before they did Beauty and the Beast. I got to animate a couple scenes of Buzzy, a lot of background characters, and a lot of Xeroxing and cutting out of people's heads. Because all those heads that are in the background are actually pictures of people who worked on the project. So that was a lot of fun. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy the time that you're having together, and look back at some old cool stuff.
Cool. Yeah, so
Tony Baxter worked a little magic for you on that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Yes, I remember that Pete worked with Kirk and Gary on the pre-show, and they got busy with that, and they were using Jared Rushton, who had done, I think, the original voice of Buzzy in the old show. I, in the meantime, cast Scott to do Buzzy and Bobby voice. But that way, using the previous voice, they could put it into production, get the pre-show underway, and yeah, Pete was one of our great animators.
So now we have characters, we have a storyboard, we're animating. We need to find some people.
Yes, casting was unusual with this. People had to work to a camera that was running around as a point of view of a person, talk directly to the lens. And then we had a special need of having the character whose head you're riding around in had to be portrayed somehow by hands and feet and reflections of a whole person occasionally that would come in. So I think you're going to see in my casting efforts that I put people through weird stuff with trying to time my camera movements to look in a mirror.
You put me through weird stuff. I had to sort through 45 minutes of this and cut it down.
And then like going to a table where you're supposed to eat and they have to slip their hand under and bring a fork up to the camera and all that stuff. And I knew that this shoot was going to be super challenging, and the last thing you need is a kid who can't hit their marks on a project that's really challenging. I mean, it's not easy. It's hard, and you find a kid who's comfortable with that and doesn't get nervous about holding up the whole crew today by hitting their marks properly, and I found him.
Well, let's take a look at some of the casting for Cranium Command.
And step, pause, lean, and back, and turn to your right. All right, we'll move up. Now lean over, whoop, and turn to your right and exit. And going forward, so just step up, step, pause, and then lean over. Okay, and move up. Okay, now we're moving fast this time. Okay, lean, notice, and turn, and action. And towards the camera, whoop, okay, I'm looking out, come back. Back, toss it down, and up. Go. And hold it. Up. And toss it down and up. Okay.
I hear you, stomach. Looks like we got breakfast. Steady ahead, let's chow down. It's about time.
Hey, Smarty Pants, the bus is here.
I hear you, stomach. Looks like we've got breakfast. Steady ahead, let's chow down. It's about time.
Okay.
Hey, Smarty Pants, the bus is here.
Rees, stomach. Looks like we've got breakfast. Steady ahead, let's chow down. It's about time.
Hey, Smarty Pants, the bus is here.
So I found the appropriate people who were willing to put up with the crazy format that we were shooting.
That's right.
And Scott, as you could see, he was the last kid that was in your edit of the movie there. And it was his hands that properly did the eating of the food and stuff. So that was a key reason that we could stay on target with our schedule and budget, because hit his marks every day.
Well, we found our Buzzy, so please welcome to the stage Scott Curtis, Buzzy. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Howdy.
Good to see you, man.
You guys haven't seen each other since, right?
Yeah, until
Wow.
just a few minutes ago outside, yeah.
He's grown up a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. But he still hits his marks.
That's right. You did a great job. I mean, we sent that cut over to you for the opening, and it came back. I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is so cool.
Yeah, the voice changed a little bit since I was 12, that's for sure.
But sure is dark in here. It just hits the same way. Before we get into some of the filming and things, we do have some footage. Scott, we call this your sizzle reel because you did some other work. And I don't know if anybody recognizes some of the stuff that Scott did, but we're going to show two of his. Well, you told me it's an interesting story about the commercial too, which was great that we're going to show. But he played Elliot in an E.T. commercial for Pepsi, and we have that tonight. We're going to show you. And he was also on a very special episode of Full House, and we're going to show you a clip from that. Very special. So let's show Scott's sizzle reel here, and. We'll take a look at this.
is offering a special $5 rebate with the purchase of an ET video and Pepsi.
Nice.
And thanks for coming back with the card. No problem. Well, bye. Bye. See you in Algebra Monday. I'll be there.
And look at this wheelie.
You only got a kiss on the cheek in Cranium.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll rewind a little bit to E.T. and then we'll get to DJ there. So you told me about E.T. where that was really interesting because you said it was a dream come true to play Elliot.
Oh yeah, what boy didn't imagine, touching E.T.'s finger,
And that was a common promotion that they did in the 80s where, turn in barcodes and things like that.
Right, yeah, the first one was that they did was for Top Gun. And they recreated the actual movie and then they put it on the beginning of every VHS copy. They came to my mom and I and said that they were thinking about doing that as well. And my mom just shot through the roof. She was like, "Oh, how cool!" And then my agent called us and said, "I think you guys did a deal behind my back here." And so they canned it, which is a real shame. That would have been awesome to be on every single copy of VHS. Yeah.
But it was out there. So.
Yeah.
And then obviously Full House, one of the really, really neat episode there. Obviously, this was just a small portion. You played Spin the Bottle and all sorts of things.
Yeah, they were looking for that ketchup bottle the whole time. That was an awesome experience. Candace Cameron Bure said that was her first kiss ever, and so I think maybe I had one kiss or something. But the Jeff Franklin, who was the producer and the creator, he kept having us smooch probably 30 times because they were just getting a kick out of how embarrassed she was getting. And there's also I don't know if anybody remembers Banaka spray, the breath spray. So that became kind of a funny thing between Candace and I, as we would spray each other, and
I couldn't find any, but I did bring Mentos, the fresh maker.
Hey,
So
there
if
you
need
go.
any today, I've
Is
got
this
some
one of the
right there.
surprises here?
I don't know if that's a surprise, but yeah, you're welcome.
Cheers.
So, well, you've got your Buzzy, you've got your cast. You gotta. What do we do next?
Well, we got to dress them up,
Dress
I think,
'em up.
appropriately for this story.
Yep. So I think we have here. Let me move to my next card. Yeah.
And
video on this.
it was so interesting when we opened. There was a live radio broadcast opening day, and we started to hear sort of a buzz about the show, and we were so glad that they described it as MTV meets Wonder Years, as sort of what they thought Cranium Command vibe was. And I think MTV referred to getting near the threshold of overload with all the screens and all the effects that would go on, and then Wonder Years for the heart thing. So having people like Scott participating in making it believable as we took the adventure was key. But yes, I think you have some things of us dressing them up.
We
trying
do.
out
With
different wardrobe.
figuring out the wardrobe. So yeah, here we go.
Far up.
Is that it? No, we're gonna have to stay dressed.
And the principal box. Yeah.
No, I see you. Oh, no.
Like you're gonna do it?
I remember this guy.
You did? I think it's taken for you.
Yeah, Jerry's shooting right now. Yeah.
Wait, you want the...
Yeah, go ahead and put the back.
Wait, are you shooting me through that mirror?
Yeah, I'm shooting both. Every.
Turn this way. Yo, word. Yeah, really.
All right.
Zero nuggets. Nuggets.
You lost the pen already. You lost the pen already. Hold on.
This is very decaffeinated what they're doing here.
Ta-da. Yeah, in the mirror, in the back. All right,
I'm trying to test them off. Okay, and I'm waiting to hear, I mean,
okay, let's try
so
now we turn.
if we can do it tomorrow, it'd be great. We can get this.
Yes.
Now, for those of you familiar with the show, you could see when Jerry was even in wardrobe, he's moving the camera to how he is going to film it to make sure that everything worked.
Yes, we had to get ready constantly, and it's funny, some of the footage that I think you're going to show shows a little moment of rehearsal between the camera operator and you, and it's in the bedroom when he's waking up, and he's looking in the mirror, and then he has to go quickly to put something on. It's like, so he goes to the closet, and his hand reaches up to get the shirt, and then go for the pants and the shoes and stuff. Well, they try that moment, and it's funny, I listened closely today at the hotel when I was looking back at that, and you hear the camera operator, he challenges you, he's like, okay, go. And he turns away and goes over to the closet, and the hand reaches up perfect timed, and he goes, perfect, you rascal. And he was just delighted that you could hit every mark, and he'd move swiftly, and you'd be right there to tuck in, but not getting in the way in between, it was amazing. And to think there were sometimes multiple things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things you had to hit in one shot. Yeah. I think about the end of the show, we'll eventually get to that shot. But if you think about that, when he stepped on the shoulder and turns around, there's one long shot to end the whole movie. And I depended on him hitting marks multiple times, including the very last moment where he's in the reflection in the trophy case and raises his hand. Right. But along the way, you're looking at her, you look at the locker room, at the locker, he's reaching into the locker. He closes it just in time for the camera to whip around, and all those things. And if at the very end, after that long thing, you'd missed your mark in the reflection, I'd have had to shoot it again. And but you kept hitting your marks. Thank you.
The camera guy and I, we became a team for sure.
Yeah.
What I remember, and again, I was 12 years old, so the memory is, what I can remember, but it's not perfect. But I remember him being very tall.
Yes.
Or at least a very, very stout
You'll
individual.
see he was.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. And so if you guys could imagine, me having to walk mere inches in front of him while a Panavision camera, which I don't know if you know the size of him, but it wasn't like a video camera or a cell phone like we have now. You know, he had a Steadicam rig, and we really had to work together to make sure, because if I bumped the camera.
Well, there were things like in the principal's office, there's a long scene there, and he had to lean over you because he's looking at your knees and your hands and everything. So, yeah, it was the big, huge guy leaning over you, and that camera was making him sweat, because that was like 30 or 40 pounds with the camera with a full magazine load. So, yeah, it was tough. And I'm glad you stayed nimble and that he didn't step on you.
Jerry, do you want to strap a GoPro to his head and redo it or anything? A lot easier now, right?
But yeah, you'll see during some of the rehearsal footage us running around and trying things.
Yeah.
And I would do that typically with my home video camera and then hand it to Davey Walsh, our DP, and Robert, his camera operator. And so I would often try things and then hand the camera for them to try things.
Right.
And you'll see a flavor of that here.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the rehearsal footage.
Pull that chair out.
Excuse me. Looks like we're gonna be lab partners. Excuse me. Looks like we're gonna be lab partners.
Yeah, we get the angels singing hot reporting, Captain. We have just skipped a beat. What's going on up there?
I'm new here. My name's Annie.
Look at me.
I
Say
keep
something.
wanting to
Right.
I'm new here. My name's Annie.
Say something. Beautiful. I mean, Bobby. Okay, so you're pouring. And you notice the smoke starting to come through.
Bobby, watch out!
Okay.
Hey, Bobby. Look, I just wanted to thank you for helping me out with those guys who were hassling me.
No, go ahead and stay a little closer
No
to the
sweat.
lockers.
Oh, okay. What's the next one?
What's that?
You were like pretty neat. I want to look at you.
No sweat.
No sweat. You were like pretty neat.
No sweat.
No sweat. You were like pretty neat.
She likes us.
Pretty neat.
She likes us. Captain, you're having fun. With energy, you're feeling younger. She's cute. The way your eyes just glisten in the overhead lighting. No, that's just not. Come on, guys. She's really cute. Look at the way her eyes just glisten in the fluorescent tube lighting. Oh, let's not start daydreaming. Let's do something concrete. Yeah.
We could go out after school. You know, go to the mall or something. Okay. That'd be great. Thanks again, Bobby.
Yahoo! Hooray! Hip, hooray! There she is.
Oh, hi.
Okay. Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Hey, you go for it. Try just lifting it up and
We actually handed in the camera for the final.
Maybe do this one. Okay. So you didn't want like a shake like that? You want full
Give a wink
360
to
or?
it.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing has to be choreographed like a ballet. Like this.
pause and charge. Okay, BJ, you see us coming? Okay, action, grab it, looking up. Okay, action.
Here. All right, 6 weeks. All right, 6 weeks detention. Out. 6 weeks detention.
feels so good.
We bumped the camera.
Yes.
Man, Jerry.
Well, young man, perhaps you trip to the principal's office and straighten this out. Bobby, aren't you up yet? The bus will be here any minute.
Bobby, respond, please. Okay, Mom. I'm up. We're running late, guys. Let's move up. Legs. Swing up for 45 degrees and extend pins. Head for the door. Watt factor 10. Go into school stark naked, always. Whoa! Quick, let's find some clothes. There's gotta be something in here. Boy, I have a dream.
No, let's see. Let's just watch.
Too cool. I haven't seen that yet.
And it was nice because you could just deliver the Bobby lines right there to Natalie, who did an amazing job playing Annie. So yeah, whenever there was a Bobby line, he could just, from wherever he was tucked away, feed that line.
Yeah, I think I was in front of the camera basically the whole time.
Yeah,
I think the only time I really wasn't involved was when the camera swung to go to the side of the house, and then I wasn't there for that, but I was really,
Yeah, you were there a lot.
Yeah.
And I saw you even today. Annie came on
Yeah.
screen. You patted your heart.
Yeah.
So.
She had just done Alice in Wonderland on Channel 7, or Channel 7 for me, on ABC. And it was a really big deal. And so meeting her right after that was, meeting a celebrity. It was kind of cool.
And I wrote a letter to her, hoping that I could find where she was and bring her here today to be on the stage with us. But I couldn't ultimately find out where she was. But somebody named Natalie received a nice letter.
Who is this Jerry Rees man, right?
A stalker. There's a guy. But, and also, just be interesting to note, you saw a guy that was rehearsing in the role of where the teacher normally led you to the principal's office. Well, there was a guy standing, and that was Michael Haney. He was my first AD. And his next gig as first AD was for James Cameron on Terminator 2. And he said that Cranium Command was the perfect training ground for the complexity of that film. He called me later, and he said, I'm on T2 with James, and I'm glad I did Cranium to prep.
Look at that.
And in fact, he had come to me the day before we started principal photography, and he closed the door and he goes, Jerry, I finally figured out how it works. And I said, what? And he said, well, all the different parts are so crazy the way they work, but I know you're shooting the point of view first, then we're going to shoot the other things and have them respond. He went through this whole thing. And I said, well, I'm glad you figured it out because we're starting to shoot tomorrow. But, it was so cool that was his next gig and that he bothered to call back and say, our time in the trenches prepped me for this. So that was awesome. And you were in the middle of it. So.
That's right. So with this, Jerry, you had to do a lot of set building, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But before that, some of the footage you had was scale modeling that you did, which I think is just amazing because you tested principles of how the stomach worked with the water coming up and down. So we're going to take a look at this.
I should mention it just before we roll that. There were things like, it was one thing to do a storyboard where appetite in the stomach is, wanting the food, and in the food fight, it comes rushing in, and the level rises of the stomach acid. And so now we're going to shoot that. Instead of animating it, we're going to shoot it on the set with real water rising. And of course, my DP and my whole team got together and they said, you can't do that. You can't move thousands of gallons of water in a few seconds. That just doesn't happen. So I huddled with Bill Matthews, my production designer, and I said, well, what if we do something like lower the whole set into a tank of water and raise it, and you affix the camera to that so that when it goes down, the camera goes down. And so as far as the camera's concerned, it's a locked off shot, but water's moving everywhere. So the DP goes, prove it. So we huddled. The thing you're gonna see here with a clay model, and it was in a bucket, and we were on the corner of the set while we were building other things, and I, with my video camera, lowered it when he lowered the bucket, the character into the bucket, and then I raised it at the same time. I took it back to Davey and showed it to him, and I said, what do you see? And he said, I see water rising and lowering. And I said, aha, suspended set, fooled you, and we built it. So
if you didn't believe me that Jerry shot video of everything,
here it is.
Here it is.
The right brain carousels. Okay,
raise him up.
there it is. There's the bucket.
You want weight or you want low?
Okay, now lower him down.
We're going to get great reflections on him, I know that.
Oh, and this was when right brain was getting dizzy.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, see, I'll go back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I just did this at home, where after I got everything cut together, I took the model of Buzzy and moved it back and forth in relation to the footage. So it would look either like he was moving with centrifugal force as the point of view moved around, or that he was moving to look at an appropriate character to speak to. But that was all just done with my own video camera at home, showing it on my TV and planning with the little model. So.
And here you are recently with the model.
Oh,
I think.
yes.
Yeah, and then the next shot, his head came off. So, all right, so up next, you had to turn these scale models, just like we're going to learn tomorrow about Horizons and Spaceship Earth, and modeling Epcot. And modeling these attractions is really an important step. So how do you take those models and turn them into sets? Now, in the case of Horizons or any attraction at Epcot, they were full sets that you always saw. Jerry's doing the same thing, but turning these into props and sets for the for the filming, rather than a ride. But the concept is the same. You made the model.
Right.
Now we're going to build the full sets.
And remember what a shock to the system this was, to the studio, because this was all going to be animated. And so instead, we're building everything.
Right. So we have some video here to show the prop building. You had a pretty big warehouse, too. I mean, this is...
Yeah, oh yes. We were building a lot of things all at the same time. That's the carousel. We actually had, those are parts of the right and left ventricles of the heart that were going to be painted heart color later on. And the Rubik's Cube. And those are all moved by hand. Those are all people behind pushing them by hand, by the way.
There you are.
Riding in the clouds. And there's Bill Matthews, the designer, riding and actually getting very dizzy when the character's supposed to be getting dizzy. He did get dizzy. And I was trying out the carousel. We actually did 2 discs on the bottom moving separate directions. So when you stepped forward, you'd be whisked off another direction. And then a top carousel that could carry things any direction we wanted. There we were trying out the full size of what we did with the bucket and the clay guy. And as you can see, it lowered right in. And that's the set hanging above the tank. We could lower it pretty far down into that tank. There's the water there. Yeah, so we had a lot of depth. So we could take him up to his chest if we wanted to. The adrenal glands where Bobcat Goldthwait hung out. That was the set, and we did that so we could wiggle it around when things were getting tough. And I think we're about to get the wiring. Yes, there's the lighting. And trying out the right and left ventricles of the heart when it was in the early stages. Some of the workers wondering, what the heck are we building? It's a new gym concept. Just go into the body and work out the body. And
there you are.
I worked out in that gym, and it worked. I actually kept that muscle suit. Dana Harvey let me keep that, so I actually wore that, I think, almost every Halloween since.
Yeah, and that too.
Looked pretty buff.
Jerry invited me down to the set because he knew. I mean, Hans and Franz from Saturday Night Live at that point in time, they were the coolest of cool.
There they are.
And so, yeah. And so Jerry invited me down, and I got to meet them, which was incredible. And Bobcat was also there, and he shot later on that day.
Yep.
And so if you see the kid that's next to me up there, that's Jason Marsden. We were really good friends. So you may know him as the voice of Max in a Goofy movie. He was also the voice of Disney. Hey, 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 you're watching Disney Channel. So that's what he did. He was also on Full House. He became Candace's boyfriend after the original. But so that's who's in that picture. Remember when we went to meet Bobcat, we walked in there, and Bobcat was sitting on a couch, and he just went, "Oh, hey guys, how you doing?" And we looked at each other like, no, do the other thing. Do the screaming and the freaking out. So
even in the photo shoot footage, he's just sitting there going, hi.
Yeah.
And the cameras are going, he's just frozen.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
I know people were so used to that hyper thing, which was perfect for his role.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, he would definitely come down off that high during
and here's some
between
pictures.
takes.
Is he? Yeah, he's in there. Yeah, so there he is up in there. We have some behind-the-scenes footage of that photo shoot. So you've got John Lovitz there as the right brain.
Right brain, he's getting ready to go rescue, be a hero.
And I forget the...
Charles Grodin.
Charles Grodin, thank you. The left brain. I'm supposed to be the left brain tonight.
Charles Grodin, he was so great. He wore the perfect square shoulders and everything. And he really got into the character. There was some footage I wound up shooting much more than I used, but he would make the greatest choices. There was something where when the kiss happened, I filmed what was going on in the left brain chamber. And, I had explosions going off and, sparks and vapor billowing and everything. And his reaction was to lift one eyebrow. He just went, and it was perfect. It was just exactly what he would do. That's great. So I loved working with him.
And we've got some other photos here from production as well.
And with John Lovitz, that was my second round with him. He was radio in the Brave Little Toaster.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there we go. We got some Brave Little Toaster. So we got Grodin again. We got Hans and Franz up there in the heart. This was your promotional photo shoot photos, I believe.
I think somebody did come around and
as they were
we were
positioned.
working, but they had EPK kit group there. I think that was taking pictures. Yeah, and yeah, I was so glad that George Wendt came down and we built those giant props for him. That was another fun thing in the final coordination between the shoot. We were doing the food fight. And I would have him do, the stomach is asking for, send down one of those burgers. And he would stuff it for the mouth and M&Ms and different things like that. And we had to build all the big props to go splashing in the stomach. And my kids played with some of those giant M&Ms for quite a few years after that.
So I have another video here as well. So. Yeah, so this is a more...
Steadicam operator, she was legendary for having the best endurance, and they told me going up and down the stairs and that is just going to kill your steady camera person, and everyone knew her name. It's like, get her.
And Scott, I think we have some
and
more
she was amazing. Now you're going to see this scene with Scott and the camera operator coming up right about now, and watch him dart. Perfect, you rascal.
You rascal. It's your new nickname.
You can see
Scott,
how big he is.
rascal. Yeah.
That was fun staging the food fight in the school.
You had volunteers for
Throwing
that
whole
one, right?
milk and mashed potatoes. Yeah, this was our food line.
Did you get
a fun story?
Oh yes, that's right. You need to tell that story. Yeah.
So again, all of this stuff was, they thought there was going to be animators working at desks, and instead there's all these trucks.
Preparing
and
food.
Crew and everything.
To be thrown on the floor.
Well, and preparing food to be thrown, yes. Yeah. Take 5.
Was this your outside
So we were
crew?
and this was at the John Muir High School.
You had what, 1 day or 2 days? It was over a weekend, right?
I'm not sure how long we had to shoot there. It was all very quick. I remember Sandy Bravens, who was an executive at Disney, calling me into her office with someone else there. And they had seen that I was going to do a food fight at the school, and they just said, it's too ambitious. What you're doing is too ambitious. And I said, well, are you going to give me more resources and time? No. I said, is it okay with me giving you half a show? No. So I said, I'm just going to have to get it done.
Yeah.
So I went back and did it.
Hans
and Franz.
Yep, trying on the heart. I think this is the photo shoot footage, because you reckon they smile these. And
Yeah, they were posing for the publicity photos.
Yeah. Probably one of those I think one of those made it to the outside queue, too. It's the blacked out tooth.
They were so good. And then, Scott, you got to try it out, too.
Yeah,
with your buddy.
I don't remember it, and so when I first saw the video, and all this footage is new to me, but when you had sent that small clip of me and Jason's on the other side, and I'm...
Yeah, they did it.
Yeah, it was,
there's Bobcat getting ready to freak out.
See, he's just frozen.
It was just right, yeah.
It's just like, hey.
I know. Well, he's not sure.
Yeah.
Fight or
flight.
Fight or flight, yeah. Not sure which. Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
I had so much makeup on, too. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
As far as the food fight scene, you know, how many kids were there on set for that?
I don't know. It had to look crowded wherever you looked.
Yeah, there were a ton, and I found out that they were having a food fight scene, and man, like I really wanted to be in it, and the crew said, no, we can't have you in it, because obviously if I got hit in the face by an apple or something, you know, that would have ruined it. But they let me do it. So in the food fight scene, I'm like way in the back corner where they were pretty sure I wasn't going to get hit by anything. And then I also want to talk about the gentleman that held the camera and, you know, gave it a wink. And I just remember he was such a pro and so cool. So watching him, you know, do wink like he was asked to do.
Yeah,
he was a
Barry.
neat guy.
Yeah. He was the lead bully, and boy, did he buff up and play some impressive villains in the coming years. And yeah, he was such a great participant. When I told him, well, we're going to make it look like you picked him up by giving you the camera. And he really got into it. He was trying to figure out, like, how do I choreograph it? And he came up with that wink just before he tosses you in the trash.
And there was a really funny clip, too, that I saw where I think he was in his early 20s, and he's talking about, and he said something, he goes, oops, there's minors here. And he did it, which was pretty funny.
Sounds like the set of Full House.
Right. So, well, we've got show programming. So you've got your filming, all the sets are done, you've got but now you got to program everything.
And I should just say, what you showed there were two parts of the shoot, the point of view and then the interior body part.
Right.
So what I would do when I was directing the interior body reactions, that I would play back the finished selects that were already cut together and locked of the point of view, because I had to time all the reactions to what was happening outside of the eyes. So I always did the schizophrenia of watching that while I was cueing them for different things that were going on. So yes, and then we put all of that in the theater and had to have Buzzy now interact and hypothalamus interact with everything.
Right. And do you know who we have in the photo here? You're in there.
Well, then I know, I can't tell exactly.
I get
there.
the back of heads, yes. I thought that was a different shot.
It's keystoned a lot here from my point of view. So I can't tell. But Dave Fighton, who I think is here, was one of the people that did
there he is.
Buzzy. Yeah, thank you. And Doug Griffith. So Doug and Dave tag teamed doing all the Buzzy performance. And I took Daryl Rooney out with me, who I'd worked with here at Disney in Burbank. And I put him in charge of really shepherding them through the Buzzy acting, and I had sat with him and gone through everything I was expecting. So I think you'll see them sort of at work and the costuming being putting on him. And all
we're going to see Buzzy get his clothes for the first time.
And you'll realize how big that guy is.
And he's naked.
So yeah, they would have to take a lift to get up high enough to work with him. And we did a long shift. We would do work there on the sound mix for part of the time, and then give them elbow room to work on Buzzy's costuming part of the time. And then we had to get people working physically away from Buzzy so that we could animate him. Yep. It would be dangerous to be next to. So there's Daryl working with, there's Doug Griffith. That's
I think we'll hear it here. We're going to see the lift go up to start put Buzzy's clothes on. And there's a line that Scott did that's like, whoa, got to get some clothes. And somebody, one of the Imagineers played that as they're dressing Buzzy, which is pretty funny. So there's
That's right.
I don't know if they can bring the audio up on this clip a little bit. We will hear that at some point.
So that's Doug.
I think it's coming up just around here, so.
Whoa, quick, let's buy some clothes.
There we go.
Let's find some clothes.
And he is huge. I mean, you don't realize.
He's huge, and you also forget that the people doing something that seems very ordinary, like putting costuming, have to know how to work forklifts and lift equipment and all kinds of stuff to move equipment around to raise themselves up. And so they have to be safety approved for lots of things besides costuming.
And I love this next shot. When she's done, she just, you'll see, she just fades away. She's like, I'm done.
Going down.
Yep.
Very big hat.
She's like, all right, I'm good.
Goodbye. Although we did have Buzzy during all the activity of moving the big arm around and animating him. One day it put on the brakes too quick and it kind of broke him. And he sprung a leak and oil started pouring out of him and he just went and totally drooped. And poor Buzzy, he just had no pressure in any of his tubes, and we had to have emergency work done on him to bring him back before we could keep acting with him. That was scary. Leaking Buzzy.
And look, I mean, you know, this was modern tech for the time. We've seen a lot of audio animatronics over the years, all the different ways they've been recorded on metal discs and tapes, and still here. Look at the size of the computer monitor. I remember lugging those around, and So
and they asked me several years into the run, Buzzy started losing the snappiness of his movement, and if he was supposed to look right there, he would look halfway there and stuff like that. So they called me and said, do you have any record of his initial snappy, good performance that we could copy? And I looked through, and fortunately I did have a shot that Jay Height, who was one of my producers, had put a tripod in the back of the theater and just shot the whole thing through when we were not quite done. We were mostly done with Buzzy. Yep. We still had some animation yet to be done. And they actually used that as a guide to sort of refurbish his movements and get him moving snappy again and looking at the right spots.
It's amazing what that type of historical record is.
John Wright's,
to be there.
The remixer. And we had 10 discrete tracks to move the sound around in that theater, so you could really feel like you were going places.
You mentioned something earlier that I never even really picked up on before when you were talking about Buzzy moving, that it was supposed to be the momentum of him swinging around in the head. And I never really,
through the eyes,
until tonight, I never caught that, but it makes total sense now. I always thought it was him trying to figure it out, but it makes...
You know, once we were keeping the eyes open and you felt like you were going places, then that seemed only the natural way to make that work. If you went counter to it, it would destroy the illusion.
You really got into Scott's head. I mean,
anyone that's been to the attraction, you guys have all been in my head, right?
That's right. Well, the attraction, a perfect segue here. So we have a couple slides. So this is the pre-show area, which was very colorful. There's not a lot of pictures out there of this at all. And you can see it was very colorful, very small screen. You'd be corralled in there for a few minutes where a wonderful animation pre-show that Pete Docter talked about would be played. And then you were ushered into the main theater. We've seen a couple shots of tonight what it looks like. So imagine yourself, for those that never experienced the attraction, you are inside the head of Scott. Those are his eyes, and the upper screen there and the lower screen represent the different parts of the body that came on and off. And then there's 4 monitors down below that showed things like heartbeat. Like when he sees Annie for the first time, you see it's going crazy. I forget what else was on. There's a number of different things that were on those.
Diagnostic and measurement things.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And the hypothalamus would come up from the center, much like in the Star Tours robot that would come up. His little head would come up and talk to you.
And it had the voice of Kirk Wise, which I had to sneak in because there was a rule that nobody on the crew could be involved with the final show.
Oh, interesting.
So I snuck it past them, and I asked Peter Schneider when the show opened, and he was there with an audience.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that a perfect voice for hypothalamus? And he finally figured it out, and then he used some expletives, but he agreed that it was perfect.
It worked perfect.
And then I did some of the voices whenever he's warned.
Yeah.
Like, warning, tapped on the shoulder and stuff.
Oh, that's you.
That was me. Yes.
Oh, look at that.
And there's Buzzy himself, a nice promo shot there. And then we have another one back here from the theater. But gentlemen, the story does not end there. And that's, so first of all, this is Jerry's story. So he bought us Cranium Command, and Scott, fantastic job as Buzzy. Please give them a round of applause because Scott, you'll forever be Buzzy, right? So
right.
That's it.
And Bobby.
And Bobby. Bobby and Buzzy. Yes. But I should have done, I'm doing the Steve Jobs style.
Mm-hmm.
If we had a videotape.
If
I had a videotape.
I think you do have it.
I do have a videotape. And if this had the left and right eye, and if this had the top and the bottom, could we revisit Cranium Command?
That would seem to be all the main screens, wouldn't it?
I think so.
Well, if someone were to coordinate that together.
Yeah, and we kind of make sure we got the audio and all that. Could we go back in time?
Because people recorded audio, right?
Oh,
and
yeah,
you could sync it up.
Yeah, yeah. So, who wants to revisit Cranium Command? Well, for those of you that know our Revisited series, this is the world premiere from the Lake Buena Vista Historical Society. This is Cranium Command Revisited, and we'll be back on stage to talk a little bit about it. Enjoy.
So cool. What?
I hear this new CO they sent over from HQ is a real featherweight.
He's probably some desk jockey. Never been up in a brain in his life.
All right, you pitiful suffering sad sacks, eyes front and listen up. I'm your commanding officer, General Knowledge, and it's my job to turn you mealy-mouthed meatheads into a crack squadron of Cranium Commandos. Your job, if you can cut it, will be to run the most sophisticated information system ever devised, the human brain. You, there in the back, suck in that gun and wipe that smile off your face. The brain is serious business. Now listen up, you miserable toads. This is your brain. You will eat with it, sleep with it. You will never leave it. Without you, the brain is nothing. Without your brain, you are nothing. It took 3 billion years of research and development to make this lean, mean thinking machine what it is today. In those years, we've had some successes and some failures. And if you meatballs can't fly right, you'll wind up piloting one of these. Do I make myself clear? Yes, sir. I can't hear you. Yes, sir. It's better. Our brain is divided into 2 halves, the right and the left.
Pardon me, excuse me, sorry.
You!
Me, sir?
No, your mama. Yes, you. Get up here on the double. Moving over. What's your name, recruit?
Buzzy, sir.
You think you're ready to pilot a brain, Fuzzy?
That's Buzzy, sir. Oh, yes, you just let me in
Why,
that control
do
panel.
you know that the brain can process up to 3 million bytes of information per second?
Why, you
I don't think you've got the spoiled on a dim bulb, freaky. I don't think you understand the amount of concentration and commitment it takes to run this lovely unit. Just look at you. You're a disgrace. Does your mother still dress you, boy?
Well, yes, sir.
Don't talk when I'm shouting. Drop and give me 20.
Sir, yes, sir.
Where was I? Oh, yes. The brain is divided into two halves. Your left brain handles the linear thinking, analysis, logic. The right brain is the creative center, home of the emotions and imagination. From the command seat here in the cortex, you'll run the whole shebang. Any questions? No? Good. All right, you chickens, this is it. Let's scramble on the double. Move it, move it. What now, Scuzzy? Taking a nap? Get your fanny in gear and hustle.
Sir! Yes, sir!
Little women and little men.
Think it, you leadfoot. If you moved any slower, you'd be going backwards. Putting you in a chicken is cruelty to animals. I'm gonna stick you in a squish, a lumpy, a talk show host. Now get in line. Move it, move it, move it. What? Here's your assignment, so listen up. Cito!
Sir!
You do a rocket scientist. Ha! Cito, if your brains were dynamite, you couldn't blow your nose. Take off!
Sir, thank you, sir!
Klaus girl, can you walk and chew gum at the same time? Never tried, sir! I'd like to know how HQ picked you for this job, Trousdale, with a dartboard. That's your NFL All-Pro running back over there. Now get out of my sight. Sir, thank you, sir!
General Knowledge, sir? You didn't give me an assignment yet, sir.
Oh, no, this has got to be a sick joke. So, Goldbeck, you want to pilot a brain, huh?
Yes, sir!
Hold on! Hey! Well, some genius at HQ has picked you to pilot the most unstable craft in the fleet.
You don't mean...
You guess it's thinking. An adolescent boy. This particular model is 12 years old. Very unpredictable.
Don't worry, sir! I can Don't worry, sir, I can handle it.
You couldn't find your head with both hands and a flashlight. Sweet yonder, where do they get these knuckleheads? And why do they always wind up in my outfit?
Roger, 12-year-old, all clear for takeoff on Delta 19 Tango. All clear, over.
Hey, you gold bricks, this ain't a spectator sport. Where do you think you are, Disney World? Get your strollers in line and hustle on the double. Move it, move it, move it. All right, recruits, pick a row, move about halfway in, and park it. Let's go. Move along. Are you waiting for your mamas to seat you? Walk swiftly. Do not run. Move it. Now listen up. This training exercise will require your utmost attention and concentration. Therefore, distractions must be kept to a minimum. Understood? There will be no flash photography or videotaping. And no smoking in here. Got it? And absolutely no drinking or eating either. That is all, recruits. At ease.
Gee, it sure is dark in here. There's gotta be a light around here somewhere. Ah, this ought to do it. Whoa!
All right, Pinhead, listen up. Your job is to pilot this craft through a typical day's maneuvers without overstressing it. Remember, use your head, don't lose your head. I've got my eye on you, Fuzzy. Screw up this mission and you'll be piloting a chicken till your retirement day. Got that?
Yes, sir. Guess I better get this show on the road. Okay, crew, report in. Left brain, right brain. Come in, please.
Yes, Captain. Did you call?
No. I guess I just pressed the wrong button.
It figures. No one ever wants to talk to me.
Who are you anyway?
I'm only the hypothalamus. I only monitor all the automatic functions of the body. All the things you don't need to worry about. I'm used to being taken for granted. Blink, blink, breathe, breathe. Day in, day out. Never a thank you, never a job well done.
Gee, I'm sorry. I had no idea. Hey, wait a minute. What are all these things?
Dreams, sir. You're in the sleep mode. You should have had this in class.
This looks pretty simple. Whoa, what's going on? What's happening? Whoa, oh, the alarm clock. Eyes, find the clock. On, hands, hit it! Well,
Well, I guess we're awake now, huh? Good morning, guys.
Morning, Captain. Left brain reporting for duty, sir. Logic circuits working at full capacity. Let's have a safe and sane day, shall we?
Roger, left brain.
Right brain here, Buzz. Free association and creativity banks fully charged.
Roger, dude.
Hard reporting, Captain. Left ventricle.
Right ventricle.
We are off and pumping.
Adrenal glands reporting, Captain. Ready to freak out at any second.
Not now, please.
Stomach reporting, Captain. Running on empty down here. Suppose we could toss down some of those cold pizza crusts from last night. Keep us, a little...
Mommy, aren't you up yet? The bus will be here any second.
Okay, Mom, I'm up. Okay, guys, we're running a little late. Legs, swing over 45 degrees and extend peds. Head for the door, walk factor 10.
Going to school stark naked, are we? Please.
Whoa, quick, let's find some clothes. There's gotta be something in here. Oh, good pants. Shirt's still okay. It's only been worn a couple days. Shoes. All right, we're out of here.
Aren't we forgetting some functions?
Illumination. Give me a reading.
Bladder reading at 9.9, sir.
We can hold it. Full spin ahead.
No. I can see you're going to put us all under a bit of a strain today.
Captain, I know we're in a hurry, but this puppy's starting to growl down here, you know what I mean?
I hear you, stomach. Looks like we got breakfast dead ahead. Let's chow down.
Buzz, let's go for the dessert.
Hey, Smarty Pants. The bus is here.
Could have swore I heard something about breakfast.
Run!
Whoa, Bobby, what you watching?
Hey, kid, get off my...
It's getting away. Quick, take a shortcut.
Planning an alternate route to school, sir. Memory indicates the presence of a small rabid poodle.
Whoa, watch out, back up.
Mike, take it! Stop on it! Stop on it!
Quick, cut through here.
Hard reporting, Captain. We are pumping. Yeah, but we are running low on energy. What are you going to do about it?
Stomach, we need fuel. Do you read?
No can do, Captain. Remember that breakfast we didn't have?
Blood sugar is falling.
You have exactly 2 seconds to get to class.
Cut to the right. Turn. Oh, there's a desk.
Okay, my little monsters. Let's create.
Excuse me. Looks like we're gonna be lab partners.
Yes!
Hard reporting, Captain. We have just skipped a beat.
Yeah, what is going on up there?
She's beautiful.
I'm new here. My name's Annie. What's yours?
Say something. Beautiful. I mean, Bobby.
Blush factor 6.5, Captain.
Okay, Bobby. I'll measure you mix.
Careful, careful. Some of these compounds are not entirely stable.
I feel like an unstable compound whenever we look at her. This must be chemistry.
Concentrate. This could be dangerous.
Just imagine.
Make my wish come true.
Bobby, watch out! Whoa! Man, get out of there!
See? You put us in an explosive situation.
I've never had to work this hard in my life. Yeah, what a loser captain we have.
Yeah, you're a pathetic girly man.
You're a girly man, loser, and pathetic.
Say there, Captain, I'd be willing to call it even if we could just toss a little bit of food in the old dumpster. What do you say?
Okay, stomach. This time we'll eat. I promise. Wow, look, there she is.
Oh, hi.
Hey, look, Todd. It's the new girl. That she needs some company, huh, Rico?
Come on, you guys.
We gotta help her.
We'll rescue her. We'll swing it on a vine, take her to a desert island.
Nonsense. We'll simply explain to these ruffians the lasting negative ramifications of their delinquent behavioral tendencies.
Okay, you take the helm, left brain.
All right, Bobby, address them.
Come now, gentlemen. I'm sure I needn't point out the negative impact of both social and academic dimensions of your Neanderthal tactics. I should point out that this will reflect very poorly in your citizenship record, and you'll undoubtedly lose standing at the college of your choice.
Captain, you've got to give me a chance for revenge.
Okay, right brain, go.
We're having speed! Moon fight!
I suppose you'll be wanting reflex dodge maneuvers since sensors on hypervigilance and endorphin pain suppressors on maximum.
Hey, Buzz! As long as you're tossing all that food around, why don't you toss some down here, eh?
All right, stomach, here you go. A burger with everything on it.
Hallelujah! Not up from heaven!
Watch it! Milk carton's launching 4D!
It's whole milk too! These guys are serious!
Who took the bite out of here?
Reload! Incoming lasagna at 5 o'clock! Dive! Going down!
What the devil is going on, Flunky? Your job is to protect this body from unnecessary stress, not send it into a coma.
Well, the left brain wanted, but then the adrenal gland said, and
You can't just listen to every fool thing that comes into your head. That's why there's chaos in this body. Make decisions. Get this crew working together. You're just begging to pilot this chicken, aren't you, boy?
Yes, sir. I mean, no, sir.
I'm warning you, Skunky.
Jeez, I've got to get my act together here. Okay, I'll do better. I'll use my head. He'll be proud of me. All right. Hands, wipe the eyes, please.
Well, young man, perhaps a trip to the principal's office will straighten you out.
Lose audio, I get the idea.
We're gonna get the soap mines, I tell ya! The pen, the big house, maybe even prison!
6 weeks detention. Out.
6 weeks? Oh no, it'll be eternity.
How about a last meal? It's kind of traditional.
Right. And what's your side of it?
Stall for time. Shuffle feet. Ring hands.
We'll probably be put on suspension for this. We can kiss Harvard goodbye. No job, no upwardly mobile lifestyle. I hope you're proud of yourself, young man. You obviously have no need for logic whatsoever. Thank you so much, and good night.
Lungs reporting, sir! We're hyperventilating! Batten down the bronchial tube!
I recommend a brown paper bag.
CO2 is dropping fast.
Oh, I'm feeling really lightheaded, man.
Listen to us now and believe us later. If we were 30 years older, we'd be attacking you right now.
Yeah, if we live that long.
Sorry, Captain. We can't take much more of this. I'm gonna have to send some back up.
No, don't! Sail all exit! Sail all exit!
Ricky, what in blazes are you up to now?
I might as well say goodbye now, sir. They're gonna burn us at the stake and send our ashes to Siberia.
Nonsense, Pinky. You're just worrying yourself sick. Real stress or imagined stress, it doesn't matter beans to your body crew. They can't tell the difference. Only you can. Take charge, lunkhead. Be calm, cool, collected, serene, balanced, centered, and relaxed, like me.
Now hear this! Quiet! Look, guys, this isn't the end of the world, okay? Now let's cooperate for once. Left brain,
Yes, sir?
give me the bottom line.
Logical.
Right brain,
Do what you really feel.
I've got a solution that covers both. We're going to tell the truth. I'm sorry, Mr. Hardcase. When I saw those guys bugging Annie, I guess I just lost my head.
I think we can be a little lenient here. Why don't you just help the janitor clean up the cafeteria after school?
Really? Boy, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Right. Get out of here.
Well done, Buzzy. Wonderfully logical.
You felt the moment. It was beautiful.
Yeah, we're starting to get the hang of it now. Well, with a little teamwork, we'll become invincible.
Warning, warning. We've been tapped on the shoulder. Warning, warning. It's the goons!
Adrenaline, would you chill out? You're getting everybody all worked up. Just keep cool, guys, and stand by for instructions. Come full about.
Hi, Bobby. Look, I just wanted to thank you for helping me out with those guys who were hassling me.
No sweat. No sweat.
They were, like, pretty neat.
He likes us.
Captain, we are having a sudden burst of energy. Yeah, we are feeling young at heart.
Hey, who ordered the butterflies?
Man, she's cute. Just look at the way her eyes glisten in that fluorescent tube lighting.
Well, let's not start daydreaming again. Let's do something constructive.
Tell you what, we'll ask her out.
Bold move, sir.
Maybe we could go out sometime after school, like maybe to the mall or something.
Okay, that'd be great. Thanks again, Bobby.
Outstanding, recruit! Look after your body crew and they'll serve you well. Congratulations! You are now a full-fledged member of the Cranium Command. I'm proud of you, boy.
Thanks, General. I never could have done it without everyone's help. This is one first-rate crew.
No need to thank me, sir. I don't do it for the glory. It's just my function.
Well, chicken, what are we going to do about a pilot for you?
I won't need one. I'm going into politics.
Politics. So long, Buzzy. Keep up the good work.
Let's hear it for Captain Buzzy! Hip hip hooray!
So remember, gang, if you get stressed out, just call in your general knowledge, balance your body crew, and get your cranium under command. Use your head, don't lose your head. It's easy. You'll be flying in no time. As a member of the Cranium Command. Bye!
On behalf of the Cranium Commandos, Metropolitan Life, and the Walt Disney Company, thank you for volunteering for Cranium Command. Please gather your belongings and exit the command center through the doors on your left. Madam, you forgot your child. Oh, that's your husband? I'm very sorry. I mean that. Have a wonderful day.
Woo!
That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks to you and everybody that participated in putting that together. That was a trip down memory lane that was awesome. I wanted to quickly mention that David Newman did our amazing score, and I appreciated everything about it. And even down to the little charm of the woman outside the principal's office winking in the little...
Yeah. How many of you noticed the things that Jerry did all the way back to his hotel room in there? Did you catch it all? There's so much that came up.
And the other thing I was going to mention is that Carl Sagan reviewed it in the Demon Haunted World book that he wrote. I actually had my mom got in touch with me, and she said, "Oh, your show's in Carl Sagan's latest book." And I went, "Sure, you're mistaken, Mom." I looked it up, and it is. It's in the book. He lists it. He talks about the sorry state of education, but he lists reasons for hope. And there's a few of them. There's like eight or nine of them. And one of them is our show. He describes going inside the head of a child, looking out through the eyes, finding out how things work on the inside as you're dealing with what's on the outside, and that it gave him reason to be hopeful. And so I made sure that our whole team saw that, and I thought that's the best review we'll ever get in our whole life, is Carl Sagan putting it in one of his books. So.
So I just wanted to explain a little bit about what we did to pull this together. I'm not going to go into a lot of technical. You can pull me over. The people that watch our movie nights call me the projector man, because I'm always threading projectors and playing with things. But deinterlacing a really poor transfer of the live action footage that you saw. It was not from a laser disc or anything like that. Whoever did it just really didn't have the technology or the know-how to get it. But using AI and using all different types of other software, we're able to bring it back. And then we had to piece together animation footage. This is the one thing that the Anonymous Force didn't have. There's just no animation footage. So that was actually clipped from about 7 or 8 home videos that people took of the attraction. And you notice the general knowledge kind of slid around a little bit. It was the best we could do. On top of that, we AI upscaled it to get the best quality and matching the soundtrack to the video. And then we masked the eyes. The footage we have is actually full old television 4x3 footage, but we masked the eyes. And when I did this, I made the eyes a little bit bigger, so you got to see a little more. The original they're much more closed. They're more like our natural eyes. I went with more of an oval to show a little more of what was going on, and there's more beyond that too.
And there was a little more room for the physical Buzzy to be out in the middle of it.
And I'll bust a myth. People say that Jerry shot it with 2 cameras, left and right eye. No, they're identical.
Yes.
So there's no 3D going on here.
True.
So, and then the stabilization of the pre-show, we had a lot of people work on that. That was it was all over the place, and the person that was filming it, it was twisting and turning and rotating. I didn't know what to do.
So not on Steadicam then?
No Steadicam, no, absolutely not. So we got together with Memory Tree Productions, who did our opening video last RetroMagic. They did some
absolute magic on that to stabilize it and give us the best quality we can go with. And then, putting it all together. Now, how many of you out there join our movie nights every now and then? Yep. So at some point, when myself and the boys want to talk again, because after this we go on hiatus from each other for a while, but we'll put together a movie night so you can all see it again, and then we'll put it on our YouTube channel. And if you like this revisited, we have 2 more for you tomorrow that we've already released, and we're going to play them again. Last thing too is some special thanks to Bunny Wars, Dreamfinder Guy, Futureport 82 who did the renderings, and Peter Shannon of Memory Tree.
And just one thing.
Yes, please.
I also want to say special thanks to Corey Burton for doing an amazing job.
Yes.
He's done so many voices for me over the years, and he was spectacular as General Knowledge.
Yeah,
so.
and coming back to do that, he had a great time. So Jerry and Scott are going to be over in Centurium after this, just as we wrap up. So if you want to meet and greet and sign autographs, they'll be over there. So for this presentation, that's the crew, and that's a wrap.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.